Hi YouTubers, it's me Vidana. Something important. Buckle up guys, rough ride. This video may offend some people. This video may contain cursing, profanity, so if you're not into watching that, please click off right now. You have been warned. Anyway, I want to talk about something right now. A major bombshell dropped today in the field of tobacco. The major bombshell basically is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, this is only for people in the United States, will most likely effectively ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. Now, big disclaimers. I want to give a couple disclaimers. Number one, I am not a cigarette smoker. I'm a pipe and cigar smoker, tobacco cigar smoker, and I do not smoke cigarettes. So I haven't touched a cigarette in almost 10 years. That's my first disclaimer. I think cigarettes are absolutely horrible. Number two, I'm only a pipe and cigar smoker, and in my home state of Massachusetts, it's already illegal to sell flavored cigars, flavored pipe tobacco, flavored anything aside from a smoking bar. So I'm biased. I haven't been able to buy flavored tobacco in my home state or online for over a year now, almost a year now. So that's my second disclaimer. So what do I think about this? The idea behind this ban is these menthol cigarettes especially, not so much the flavored cigars, are heavily marketed towards Latinos and blacks or African Americans. So that's the idea behind it. It's racial profiling, and basically they are targeting these, low-income communities with African Americans and also Latinos. So it's a huge market, the menthol cigarette market. Now, this is nothing new. The FDA has tried to ban menthol cigarettes for a long time, since 2011, I want to say, and now it looks like it will really happen, most likely, because Biden is president. I'm not going to get into politics, kind of bullshit, most likely he will approve it. So now what we're talking about is a federal ban. We're talking about a federal ban on menthol cigarettes, Kools, Newports, Salem's, Marlboro Menthol, etc., etc. We are not talking about a state ban. There are plenty of states. There's a hell of a lot of states and counties where flavored tobacco is already illegal. So it's already illegal to sell. Not necessarily illegal to possess, but I mean, there's really no place it's illegal to possess, but to sell in a retail store, like a tobacco store or a gas station, a mini mart, you get the point. So that's the whole point. Is there's plenty of states, like California and Massachusetts, which are very left-wing states, where they've already banned that kind of stuff. So, but we're talking about a federal ban. We're talking about the whole country going menthol cigarette free, the whole country no flavored cigars, even on the premise of an adult-only smoking bar. Now, there's a lot of people who say this is way too authoritarian, this is going to create a black market, this is complete BS, complete bullshit, and I mean, BS can be BS. I mean, believe me, BS can be BS, but then there are people who say this will save lives, this will prevent the new generation of young, poor, African-American Latinos from becoming addicted to smoking. The number one cause of preventable death in young black men, or black men in general, or Latinos, is tobacco. So that's the argument on this side. But then there are people who say it's way too authoritarian, it's telling people, it's forcing adults, these are people who can drink, smoke, people who can gamble, watch porn, etc., drive a car, get married, get an abortion, etc., all that kind of stuff, and yet they don't have the choice anymore to purchase these products. And that's, I mean, I'm not going to get into a huge debate about that kind of crap, but the whole point is that's the two arguments. And basically, the FDA's thought behind this is by doing this, they will save a lot of lives. And believe me, I mean, I'm the first one to say cigarettes are horrible. They're fucking nasty. I mean, they stink. They're nasty. The odor on the clothes, nasty smell. I mean, you sit next to somebody who's a pack-a-day smoker. I mean, it's a horrible stench. I mean, nobody wants to be around that. People throwing butts everywhere, causing a fire. People, leaving their butts on the ground. It's horrible. I mean, I mean, I'm still a smoker, but I'm not a cigarette smoker. I'm a pipe and cigar smoker who smokes on average once or twice a day. So, I mean, yeah, it's like, but back to what I was saying, it's like this would be a nationwide ban. This would be all 50 states. Philip Morris, R.G. Reynolds, Lorillard, Brown, any kind of tobacco company would not be allowed to sell any menthol cigarettes in the United States, as well as flavored cigars. Now, what's interesting is they have not said if this is going to expand to pipe tobacco, if this is going to expand to smokeless, or if this is going to expand to vaping or hookah. So right now, it's, as far as I can tell from all the news sources I've read, it's only flavored cigars, which would include machine-made cigars, and also menthol cigarettes. So far as I can tell, pipe tobacco, vaping, hookah, smokeless, chew, dip, snooze, snuff is not affected. But that could change. Most likely it will change, I would imagine so, and they would just do no more flavors of any kind, period, in the United States. Now, a lot of people say, like I said, that this will really save lives, but at a certain point, I'm more on the end of the spectrum of, yeah, cigarettes fucking stink, they're nasty, they're horrible, but you have to let people make their own decisions. Assuming the person is not hurting anybody, you have to kind of, take off the Band-Aid and let the person, make their own decision. Because, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can tell somebody, you can warn somebody, you can, produce, truth campaigns, anti-smoking ads, you can produce all that kind of crap, but at a certain point, you have to let adults make their own decisions. I mean, are we going to tell people next you can't go to McDonald's and eat, 20 cheeseburgers and get morbidly obese? Are we going to tell people you can't join the military and potentially get your arm blown off in Afghanistan because you get, you go to the military and you get seriously injured in the military? I mean, there's a very fine line, a very gray line. It's a very slippery slope. I mean, there are plenty of people who, the idea behind this is they target children. These menthol cigarettes, these candy flavors, are targeting children, and they're targeting teenagers to smoke. That's stretching it a little bit. I think, yeah, we can agree, fruity flavors like candy chocolate might target kids, but menthol, I don't think menthol is targeting kids because all it is mint. I mean, what are you going to say next? You can't chew, mint gum? Give me a break. I mean, give me a fucking break. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, you might say to somebody, well, you can't smoke, menthol cigarettes, but you can't, you get the point. I mean, it's a very slippery slope. I mean, where does this end? I mean, at a certain point, the FDA is going to have to decide whether they want to keep cigarettes legal or ban cigarettes outright. I mean, it's going to have to come down to that because either ban them or not, because you just can't keep chipping away at them. I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes. I haven't touched a cigarette for almost 10 years. I mean, I think they're horrible. I've seen firsthand how addictive they are. I've seen firsthand how horrible they are, how miserable, how they can ruin people's lives. But give me a break. I mean, there's a lot of shit that can do that. So, I mean, look at people who, sit at McDonald's going through, 3 or 4 quarter pounders and, end up, having heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. I mean, look at myself. I mean, all the health problems I have right now, the majority of them, with the exception of the morning cough, almost all the health problems I have right now, the reason I am on medication for blood pressure and cholesterol, and, the reason I have fibrosis in my liver has nothing to do with smoking for the most part. It has nothing to do with smoking. It has to do with the fact that, I'm 60 or 70 pounds overweight. It's like, it has to do with the fact that I love bacon, sausages. I mean, there's a very fine line and a very slippery slope. I mean, what are we going to do next? Are we going to say McDonald's can't come up with a Shamrock Shake because it has too much sugar and it's a minty flavor? minty flavor, just like menthol cigarettes. I mean, give me a fucking break. It's like, at a certain point, we have to either say we're going to let adults make these decisions, or we're not going to let adults make these decisions. So, I mean, yeah, we can educate people. We can tell people, listen, if you eat, 5 or 6 or 7 hamburgers a day, you're going to be 400 pounds. You're going to be, huge. You won't be able to wipe your own freaking ass. It's like, but we have to let people make their own decisions. I mean, I can understand, not selling them to children. I mean, I can understand, obviously the tobacco is a product for adults. I mean, obviously that's been in effect for years. I mean, obviously we shouldn't be marketing it all to people underage. I mean, obviously you should be at least 21 or 18 or whatever it is to buy it. I mean, of course that makes sense. But at a certain point, it is what it is. I mean, it causes cancer, it causes health problems, and we have to just let it be. Anyway, I mean, I say, put more research or put more effort into deterring people from purchasing products in the first place with anti-smoking ads, that kind of stuff. But don't ban it. I mean, that's just my theory. And when you get into banning something, I mean, didn't we learn anything from prohibition of alcohol, prohibition of marijuana, prohibition of it? I apologize. I tickle my throat. Tickle my throat. I mean, prohibition of marijuana. So that's just my thoughts. I mean, give me your thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of people who will say this is the best, this is the greatest day in the world. This is the greatest day ever. Cigarettes stink. They're closer to being banned. I mean, it's just my thoughts. I mean, give me your thoughts. Anyway, bye. Big ass for life.